Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? All right, now that we've had our fun with our fun video, now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. Okay. Sorry, Charlie, but we got to talk about real stuff right now. So, the fact that this is now being openly discussed just shows the true extent of the global awakening, and they can't stop it.
Think it was an arson, or do you think it was unintentional?
Fuck you who's doing this. I know I'm going to get a lot of trouble for saying this. I was listening to someone, their home was worth $4.5 million. The assurance came back and offered them 800,000. The majority of these people will never see the light of day. California is rich in lithium deposits. Lithium is used in what? Electric batteries. Smart cities are going to take over. They want to build controlled cities. You're going to have to qualify to be able to live in that area. Be good and do as they tell you. They're going to monitor everything you do. We will come after you.
To rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire.
So, an investigation was just completed into the Los Angeles Fire Department. And over 20 fire departments are literally falling apart, like at the seams, like falling apart. And if LAFD finds out that anyone made any repairs to these said buildings, the fire department buildings, okay, the houses themselves, um, they will be punished. Like the captains, the lieutenants, the sergeant, okay, they actually get punished. And it's so bad that there's actual mold infestation at Los Angeles Fire Station 112. And like I said, it was so bad that it sent the fire chief to the hospital. Now, I don't know if you know anything about black mold. Black mold can start its infestation within 18 to 24 hours, okay, of water, like a flood, or even just dripping water, okay, like if you have dripping water like underneath your sinks or like in the cabinets or anything like that, okay, it will literally start. uh so because I've dealt with black mold in my own home, okay, so I can tell you that it literally takes 18 to 24 hours in order for an infestation to start, and it spreads rapidly, okay. So, and what it does to you is it can literally and figuratively, okay, like, with the lungs and everything, it can kill you. So you have to really seriously be careful. He was on life support for 3 weeks, the fire chief, okay. His leg turned black and they had to amputate his thumb. Okay, so this is not something to mess around with black mold. Okay. Um, I've had to deal with this, like I said, in my home, where we had to have, I don't know if you've ever heard of a company called Serve Pro. They're countrywide, where they come in and they put these huge machines in your home. And it, like, these machines, they suck out all the moisture that's in your house. And it takes all the, I mean, like, if there's moisture behind, say, your drywall, okay, that's in the wood that's behind your drywall, it will literally suck out all the moisture, okay. And when you have water damage, okay, and I'm speaking from experience, and you have water damage, okay, now the Serve Pro will come in, okay, and depending on how bad the water damage is, they'll cut either like a foot to 4 feet up your wall, okay. And the wood that's exposed, the beams that are behind your drywall, okay, they will put these big machines in, and it'll suck out all the moisture, okay, to dry everything up. And then they'll take this chemical. I can't remember the name of the chemical, but it's safe for animals and children and stuff like that, because I made sure of it. It's organic. And they spray it everywhere inside the walls to kill any of the black mold. And it does work. It really does. Because bleach doesn't work, regardless of what you think. All bleach does is it whitens it, so you can't see it anymore. Okay? Vinegar does not work. Okay? You could try all you want, and it does not work. Trust me. Okay? So you have to have this chemical, and then they'll put the machines back on, and it'll clean it, because they'll literally soak the wood that's behind the drywall. Okay? And then they'll put the machines back on, and it's like for like 24 hours, 48 hours, something like that. And then the reconstruction can begin. Okay? And it's such a tedious task. It really is, truly is, to get rid of black mold. It's not fun, and it's no joke.
LA fire stations are falling apart, and there are some that are even dangerous. Over the past few days, I've probably been to 20 firehouses, and what I've seen has been absolutely infuriating. It is impossible to get anything fixed. Most of the firemen I've talked to this week do the repairs at the stations themselves with their own money. I am not exaggerating this. The very first firehouse I pulled up to, there were firemen in the back filling in a pothole with sand. If LAFD finds out you've made any of your own repairs, you're punished. I have talked to firemen that have to barter supplies with other stations to get the supplies that they need. At the next station, when I asked the fireman if I can come in and document the damage, he said, just take pictures of the outside of the building and you'll know what the inside is like. This fire station, its garage door has been broken for a year. They've begged and begged LAFD in to fix it, who was punishing them for not having quick enough response times. And it got repaired this week only because the local community stepped in and fundraised money. There's stuff like this citywide, and LAFD is terrified you'll find out because they know you'll be pissed. The mold infestation at Los Angeles Fire Station 112 was so bad, it sent its fire chief to the hospital. He was on life support for 3 weeks. His leg turned black and they had to amputate his thumb. Mold is a huge problem. It isn't just one fire department, it's like 15 and very well documented. Going back to station 112, after complaints and complaints, I talked with a guy who self-financed his own mold test. When the inspector came, he told him it was the worst case of mold he'd seen in his life. Another fireman here refused to go into the kitchen because every time he did, his face would break out in hives. The firemen here were sleeping on the fireboat until their higher up told them they had to stop doing that because it looked bad. Why is this like this? There's multiple reasons, but the biggest is the union. An active fireman told me there's a lack of funding, goes nowhere bureaucracy, inaccessible chain of command, and mismanagement. So look, I'm not intimate with this union's policies, but if it's any indication, they might have the one flagpole I have seen in the city that's not flying at half-mast. Seems like they have a lot of respect. A fireman told me every fireman in the city are terrified to talk to you. This is actually the reason why firemen can't talk to media. As a fireman told me, it's their way of damage control. And anyone knows if they talk to media, they'll be fired. I've had a gut-wrenching week talking to people who have lost their houses every single day. And this is the first story where I've had someone in tears in front of me. I need to thank Watchdog LA for pointing me in the direction of these stories. Over the next few weeks, you're gonna see people behind podiums downtown being like, these are our city's heroes. And I just want you to know, the moment they step away from that podium, they're okay with their heroes being treated.
So now that I have explained what's going on with the LAFD, because you know as well as I do, funding has been cut from the LAFD. The richest people in LA are paying for their own personal fire trucks to protect their homes. Well, how sweet is that? Okay, but people like you and I, we can't even do that. Okay, I mean, if your home was on fire, you probably wouldn't even be able to get to your own garden hose. Okay, but they're able to have their own personal fire truck. Well, wait just a damn minute. You know what I mean? Ridiculous.
Come down to Brentwood, an extremely rich, exclusive area. At the moment, it's not in an evacuation zone. But just take a look at this. Outside these houses of millionaires, there is a fleet of private firefighting vehicles. A small army, really, standing by, ready to protect some very, very wealthy homes. Now, people have raised a lot of questions about this, about how ethical it is when schools, care homes, ordinary people's houses have been destroyed and the public fire service is struggling. Now, the fires tonight, they're not imminently threatening this area. There is a possibility the wind could blow them this way, but clearly people with millions to spend, they're not taking any chances. We've spoken to a few of the guys protecting these homes. They're really nice, they're just doing a job. You know, some of the time they don't even know who they're working for, but you can understand why people are frustrated and angry that certain areas like this are getting this special protection.
So the Los Angeles Pacific Palisades, the fire victims, are being price gouged for rent now. And this right here upsets me, because this happens here as well after a natural disaster, like when, you know, after like Helene hit and Milton hit and stuff like that. And examples of rent tenants are being charged, okay? Rent a home in Glendale, this is California. It went from $8,500 a month to $19,500 a month. That is a 129% increase. Now, I know you're probably saying $8,500 a month. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, to rent around here is about $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Okay, so over there, yeah, $8,500 is equivalent to the same that you would be paying rent here in Tampa. Okay, Santa Monica, California, a home that increased from $19,800 a month to $35,000 a month. That's a 76% increase. Los Angeles, a unit, and I'm guessing this unit was like apartment or whatever, increased from $4,300 to a whopping $44,000, which is an egregious 923% increase, okay? Now, LA Tenants Union, which is California Penal Code 396, prohibits price gouging during a state of emergency, but yet it's happening. It happens everywhere where there is a common natural disaster, like hurricane, wildfire, tornado, like if you live in Tornado Alley, that type of thing. Okay, this is a common thing, but yet no one does a damn thing about it. Okay, they can have penal codes all they damn want, but no politician will ever stop it. But here are the actual victims showing in this video that I'm going to show you right now, dealing with this, and it's actually happening. And Gavin Newsom, he declared punishments for this, but it hasn't actually deterred anyone, as there are reports of this all over LA right now.
Despite laws that are supposed to prevent rental price increases exceeding 10%, some property owners seem to be exploiting people's desperation, and they're now advertising rental prices that have jumped from $4,300 a month to $44,000.
Have you looked at Zillow?
No.
Or anything like that?
No, knowing the challenge I'm going to have, we won't be living in a safe area or a place that has grass.
Hall and her 12-year-old Jade escaped their home where the single mom paid more than $1,000 below market value.
I make $3,700 a month, and the average two-bedroom is $2,500, $2,800. It's unrealistic.
As the smoke clears, the scale of loss is coming into focus. 12,000 homes gone. Even before the fires, Los Angeles needed to build 450,000 affordable housing units to meet demand. On average, a new apartment building takes 4 years to build.
This is a housing crisis on top of a housing crisis.
A data analysis by Zillow finds 97% of LA households can't afford the mortgage for the average home price here, nearly $1 million.
And I've been homeless before, so it's so triggering to have vowed to myself I'll never have us in this kind of situation again. So we're just desperately looking for permanent housing.
And the punishment for overcharging on rent in an emergency situation like this is a fine of up to $10,000 for landlords. That doesn't seem to be a deterrent, at least in some cases.